right, call to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first of all, it's great to see everybody here tonight. I guess it tells us that we can actually do evening events now at the senior center, because you guys are gonna show up for them. All right, clerk, roll call.
Trustee Sewell.
Yeah.
Trustee Stewart.
Here.
Trustee Ball.
Yes.
Trustee Gunther.
Here.
Supervisor Cox.
Here. All right, let's start with that. Okay, next item is public comments. If you'd like to make a comment, you can just step to the podium, just keep it under 5 minutes, okay? And sorry about the microphone, the cord's missing tonight, so just, we'll hear you. Yeah.
Good evening. I didn't realize so many people attended this. I've lived in Collinsville most of my life. I've never been to one of these meetings, but tonight's the night.
Same here.
I'm Gail Ann Byers. I live on North Clinton Street. I have lived in Collinsville.
Gail, speak a little bit
for
louder, please, Donovan.
I'm sorry about that, the mic and the cord, sorry.
No, it's not on.
Anyway, the reason I'm here this evening is a couple of weeks ago, I was playing bingo here at the center, and something happened to my body, and I got really, really sick. And so, my vitals were not good, and I just wanna say that Brandon came to my rescue, and, they were still playing, they were finished playing bingo, and I needed to get to the hospital. The paramedics came, he got paramedics here, and, I didn't want them to take me for whatever reason, I didn't wanna go with them. So anyway, I got a little worried, and I went back, and so Brandon said, Gail, you gotta go to the hospital. So I said, okay, so I couldn't get a hold of it in my family, so Brandon said, I will take you. And there were still some people here, but I don't know how, I just can't express my appreciation any more than I am here tonight to that young man for taking care of me. He's scared.
I'll be second, but I don't have to go up there, I'm loud enough, right?
Sure. Yeah, you're fine.
Just also wish to appreciate Brandon's efforts to increase our classes and activities. It can be, not an easy job, because he's taking care of the building, he's also the custodian, and, he mops these floors really well. He has given us respect, always stops to listen to our questions or anything we want to share with him. He's been good to us and he's been good for us. He is decent, honest, and he cares for us. We hope he will be with us for many years to come.
Thank you, ma'am. Can I get your name?
Oh, Diane Maslowski.
Anybody else, feel free just to stand up. You're good, Bill. Go ahead.
My name's Bill Wagner, and I've been with you up here for about 3 years. Coming with my wife, I met her, and I came up here. Now this young man, if you give him a chance, he'll be the biggest leader you ever seen. He works hard for everybody here. He does not need to be put down or punished for anything. He's a good man.
I'm 80 years old, and I've never taken advantage of this center until Brandon come here. He was so cordial and nice to me. I was not a real recent little, but 2 years, and still feeling sorry for myself. And he got me into exercises and knuckle, and he's just a wonderful, wonderful, loving person, and he helps everybody in our classes. He'll stop and see what's wrong, and he'll get to the bottom of it. Us seniors cannot think of coming here without Brandon being here.
Right.
So whatever you do, don't anybody put him down or make him feel bad, because he's better than you'll ever find anywhere else.
Anybody else? Any other business? Go ahead.
Chris Martin, and I would like to clarify one thing. Friday, when he took Gail to the hospital, bingo was over. We were playing bingo. I don't recall if everybody had left the building, but there was no more activities here than when he left with her.
I clocked out, and that day I wasn't able to have a break, so I clocked out. Thank you.
I just wanna clear one thing up. I don't think Brandon was ever got in trouble for taking, Gail to the doctor or the hospital.
My name's Al Woolen, live at 868 Lester. Why does he have to clock out for when there's an emergency like that? I don't understand why he has to clock out if he's taking care of somebody. Why should he have to lose pay if he's a coordinator here at the senior center? Why does he have to clock out? That lady's life means more important than clocking out.
Right.
Yeah, that's common sense, that he wouldn't have to.
Did he get docked for
No.
clocking out?
No. Anybody else? Going once, twice? Okay. We'll move on to the agenda here. Consent agenda. On this here, we'll be approving A, B, C, and D all in one vote. And do you want me to call it ECD or A through D or?
Nope, unless anybody has
Okay.
any questions, we'll just take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
This is on the meeting minutes, the assessors report, the Township Highway Commissioners report, and the clerk's report. Okay, motion?
I'll motion to accept as presented.
I'll second it.
Roll call?
Trustee Sewell,
Yes.
trustee Stewart,
Yes.
trustee Ball,
Yes.
trustee Gunter,
Yes.
supervisor Cox.
Yes. Next thing on the agenda is the approval of bills, and before we get that, I just want to hand this to all the trustees. We just started this with the new board, and I just wanna make sure, cause we get so much paperwork and sometimes things get lost in there. But this is our profit versus our, profit versus our loss versus our budget versus our actual, basically where we're performing to the budget, to the actual day. Before, here at the meetings, we'd get in here, we'd approve bills, and we didn't really know exactly how much we have left in the budget. This here shows it, from our office salaries to our legal services, to our postage, to the telephone, to the senior center, to everything. It has it here, what we have budgeted and how we're performing. And we're 6 months into the year, so really we should be right around that 50%. And so you can look on the last line there, most everything, we're below the 50%, but there are a few things, I'm looking at road and bridge. So there are a few things that have taken up, but you know, it's good to follow that. So I wanted you guys to see that before we actually voted on the bills. So with that, we'll just move on to the approval of the general assistance.
Right, so the general assistance bills for the month totaled $5,611.79. So can we have a motion for approval?
I'll motion to approve.
And I'll second.
Okay, roll call.
Trustee Stewart,
Yes.
trustee Ball,
Yes.
trustee Gunter,
Yes.
trustee Sewell,
Yes.
supervisor Cox.
Yes.
Okay, and under road and bridge, there are two sections. We'll first take the first section, which is the general, permanent, et cetera, which total $204,238.57.
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, roll call. And I just wanted to mention something. I know Brad, you had a question. Kathy, you're there. It's about your bills. There was a health insurance bill paid out of that, and we pay, is it $2,500, Kathy?
$22.50.
$22.50. We paid the whole thing, but the employee is gonna have to hold back.
He's gonna have to reimburse us, yeah,
$250.
$250.
Yeah. Okay, but I did ask for you.
I was curious about that.
Okay. You good? Perfect. All right, roll call.
Trustee Ball,
Yes.
trustee Gunter,
Yes.
trustee Sewell,
Yes.
trustee Stewart,
Yes.
supervisor Cox.
Yes.
Okay, under road and bridge equipment, we had expenditures of $19,975.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Trustee Gunter,
Yes.
trustee Sewell,
Yes.
trustee Stewart,
Yes.
trustee Ball,
Yes.
supervisor Cox.
Yes.
And then the town fund, you'll see, between all the various components, monthly expenditures were $176,952.21.
And I'd like to make a comment on that. If you look at these, so there are 3 payments, that were made to IMRF in this month. And then the big one, the reason that it's so high, and I think I mentioned it last meeting, is that $72,295 for the folks in the audience. Before this board was put in place, we at the old supervisor in office applied for federal grants money. Even though we didn't really, how should you say, we shouldn't have gotten it. I'm trying to think about the other word, but point is that we got a letter from the IRS saying you shouldn't have got this money. It's not for government bodies, it's for private businesses and other things. So we had to pay that back plus interest. The interest luckily was only about $300. But so when I got in, we were getting letters from the IRS saying you owe this money back. And so we had to write the check. And that's why those bills this month are so high for $72,295.43. Any other questions? Okay. Did we have,
No, need a motion.
I'll motion and we approve those.
Second.
Okay, a roll call?
Trustee Sewell,
Yes.
trustee Stewart,
Yes.
trustee Ball,
Yes.
trustee Gunter,
Yes.
supervisor Cox.
Yes.
And the last one is for the senior center. Expenditures were $3,490.68.
Any questions?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
And I do want to mention out of that senior fund that we have, we still have not spent any money out of that, and there's still a nice chunk. So these parties that we've been doing, and we're doing a Halloween party and stuff, that's all donated.
Roll call.
Yeah, roll call.
Trustee Stewart,
Yes.
trustee Ball,
Yes.
trustee Gunter,
Yes.
trustee Sewell,
Yes.
supervisor Cox.
Yes. All right, reports by officers and committees. I see Kathy, back from her anniversary. Kathy. And Kathy Tricano Holscher is our highway commissioner.
Actually, there really isn't anything I need to go over as far as what we've done, because I've given you all the copies of that. But, what I wanted to point out was, you noticed on the bills this time, there was a charge for $15,000 to Chris Brothers. And that was the balance that we owed for doing the roads out in Lake Acres. We did Suander, Wabina, Louise, and Billou, short into Billou. So we did all that paving ourselves, and 60,000 of it was paid through, MFT funds that we get. It's called, America, I don't know, something to do with the new monies that we're getting in. And it's for basically road maintenance, and we have to spend it every year. So, we spent it on that. Next year, we're gonna finish Fairlane, that's the only road that needs to be done. Maryville's working with us to put the gutters on the other side that, they need to, cause they just have this short section. And so then we'll do Fairlane next year, and we're gonna start in, Dieterding, to start doing some of the roads out there too. So as much as we can do with the money is what we'll do next year, but we'll be doing that ourselves too.
Thanks, Gary.
Where I live.
Okay. Our assessor, I don't see Pete here, but I believe he did put in his report, and that can be found. Brandon's here. Did you write one, or would you want to speak anything? Or
I'm fine with speaking.
okay, sure, go ahead.
It's been great. Oh, I forgot this was off. Alright, yeah, thank you. This is the most I've ever seen, probably ever, come to a township meeting, and hopefully we keep growing it to where we'll have to fill that place out there. Thank you for the support, and, God bless.
Okay, and moving on to the trustees.
I like that, we're gonna actually finally, sounds like we're gonna really sit down and talk about getting this property next door so we can have some parking here and explore our options for, acquiring that property. And, you know, that's gonna be another large parking lot downtown, which, you know, that's also gonna help when we have our events uptown that people can park on. So they don't have to park all the blocks and blocks away. Yeah, it's a little bit of a walk, but we're supposed to get exercise, right?
Yeah, and so that's on the agenda to talk about in closed session. We have to talk about acquiring properties and stuff, and that's one of the reasons we have a closed session on the agenda tonight.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, I was remiss last week when Kathy kind of gave an update on her report. You know, one of the things important, I think, that kind of got glossed over a little bit was her taking a look at her budget again. And I just challenge everyone now, with, especially as I'm dealing with the same types of things, you know, the cost of goods and services have taken a huge increase, and with COVID and all of those. So I think a hard look at the budget just to make sure that, you know, that we're tracking and that we continue to forecast any of those increases, and kudos to Kathy and her team for that.
Yeah, I really don't have too much to say this evening, but I did spend an afternoon with Pete and Pam from the assessor's office. Kind of showed me what they call the four corners of the township. Some of the areas I had never been to before because I am a transplant. I've only been in the area about 20 years. So we definitely are talking, and I'm working with Pete and Pam, and we're trying to look at the budgeting already for next year. So that's my primary focus with those guys right now.
And then I'm a general assistant, that's my area. So they're continuing to send line heat applications to the county, and then pretty soon they'll start the water assistance as well. And this month alone, they sent 101 applications to Madison County Development. They have continued to help clients with disconnection notices and taken a lot of phone calls. They are available to help if you know anybody that needs assistance with their application. And then closer to the end of the month, they are gonna start working with the food pantry for the Christmas giveaway. And possibly a Thanksgiving giveaway is what they're gonna work on as well. And in years past, they helped 200 families at least with the giveaway, so they're looking forward to it. I know they really enjoy those. So if you know anybody that needs assistance, and landlords, don't hesitate to reach out.
And to your point, and for folks that aren't quite sure, because what it is the county provides a lot of the money, and some of it comes from federal grants, some of it comes from their pot. But the point is the township actually just serves as a spot that people in Collinsville Township, Maryville, just outside, can actually come into, and then we help them apply. That money then comes from the county, okay, and they actually pay us, I believe it's a couple bucks per application, because we're employing the person to do all this, which is our general assistance manager. So that's not actually coming, a lot of this money is not actually coming out of the township tax dollars. It's coming out of federal money and stuff. We're just helping with the paperwork to get it moving. All right. Okay, Jim?
Nothing really to add, other than you saw in my report about Gabby and the girls putting together a basket for the trivia next weekend for Angelica over at the food pantry, so I hope everybody gets a chance to attend. Also, we're talking about now they're gonna do again the tree auction
Mhm.
at Christmas time. They didn't have it last year, but this year it's gonna benefit K-Hawk Strong, and in the past, we've done a live tree, and I think we'd like to do it again, but we're gonna need some help, cause I know Kathy's gonna be busy over the holidays, so if any of you guys wanna help us pull together decorating a tree, there you go. We'd appreciate it.
I got a secret weapon.
You do.
I remember my mom together and it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm thinking it might have something to do with alcohol, is there anything?
No, his wife is just
okay.
crazy
all right.
talented.
Yeah, my wife got a tree last year.
Okay, if there's nothing under old business, we'll move on to new business, and it's a presentation of the year ending March 31st, 2021, and it's our auditor, Kevin Tapin. And if, sorry about the microphone, but we'll make do, but he has our audit. It came out, I guess, about a week ago, and so this is the first that I'm actually here to learn about it as well. So if you just wanted to give us a brief overrun, and then if we have any questions.
Sure, I'll try to be brief. Speak up a little bit too. I'm sure not everybody's here to see me, but it is kind of. Look who's present, that's most interesting thing in the world. As with most, I'm gonna try to go just through the main pages. And
Sure.
Just hit the highlights. If anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer anything. But really, the way townships and really municipalities are set up, that you can go through a few pages and hit certain areas, and it gives a pretty good idea of what the activity was for the whole year. And I'm gonna try to do that. I'd like to start on page 7. This is the changes in revenues and expenditures for the year, and this covers the whole township as a whole through all the funds. If you look at the far right side column, total revenues this year is about $3.5 million. And I have a little comparison that I wrote on here. It's up a little bit. It's about $3.4 million the past year. Your expenditures this year were about $3.3 million, which was actually down a little bit from last year, about $3.5 million. So both sides went the direction you really want to be going.
So hold on just real quick, I got distracted. So you're saying the revenues were down from
The revenues are actually up a little bit. They were 3.5 million this year compared to 3.46 million last year. So there's a little bit of increase in there this year. And part of it was the Rebuild Illinois monies. I think that was being referenced to at the roads.
Okay.
That you had this year that you didn't have in the past. And that was about $52,000.
And just so everybody knows, this is not this year, this is last year from March 31st through, so basically all of COVID, really, that,
Right. Right.
And we'll get audited next time for this year.
And that's part of the reason with the money being held back a little bit, not spending, because
Right.
no one really knew where it was gonna go, and we've pretty much seen it everywhere. Everybody's revenues really didn't get dinged as bad as what everybody thought they were gonna do. And, but the expenditures everybody held the reins back on them, so.
Right.
Most people we've seen, almost all municipalities had really good years this year. And you kind of fall in the same category. If you look at, as a township as a whole, then, the third line from the bottom shows your increase for the year. About $195,000. When you compare it to last year had this decrease in the range of about $60,000. So it was a nice turnaround. Obviously, the two big funds are general fund and road and bridge fund. That's where most of the activity goes through. And those did have slight deficits this year, but if you compare them to last year, it was a large improvement over the last year deficit. So there's a big change in the current year. So your ending fund balance went from $6.2 million up to $6.4 million. And you're on the modified accrual basis, so that's not strictly all cash, but as far as cash goes, you have about $5.6 million in cash investments at the end of this year, as opposed to last year about 5.3. So you did go up in income, and your cash investments were about $300,000 too. So again, very good. The one thing that's kind of fluky about these also, if you look at page 7, the column, not the right-hand column, but the column next to other governmental funds. That's kind of a catch-all column for what's considered to be not major funds based on percentages of revenue and expenditures. And that page that makes up that column is on page 30, it's the last page of the audit. And you can get a good idea for this, a lot of these smaller funds, but some of these funds where there was a decrease in the current year, for example, insurance, general assistance, and really insurance in both of them, that was down this year, but it's really spending down the reserves that you had in those individual funds. It wasn't necessarily bad year, it was expected spending of those funds to bring them down. So again, there's all positive type issues. The one other page I'd kinda like to point out to you is page 27. And this is, some places really a sticking point, other places I don't know what people care about, but this is an actuarial in your IMRF, it's really the retirement for the township. And, this gives you an idea how funded you are compared to what they say that you're expected to owe in the future. And this year, you can see there was a net pension liability line, it's about 4 lines from the bottom. It's a negative 1.6, actually that negative means it's to the good. It means your assets are much higher than what the expected liability in the future is gonna be. And that's progressed up this last few years. Back in 2017, you had $750,000 to the good, then it dipped back down, and it always just has to do with retirement type issues. It did climb right back up, and a lot of it's to do with the investment returns that you've experienced.
And
It's
I'm gonna
really good.
ask Kathy if you have anything that, cause I apologize that you don't have this right now. Do we have an?
He gave me a
You
copy.
just got one, okay.
Yeah.
And what I was going to say is if you have any questions, cause you've been around a lot longer than I have.
Right.
Especially, and you know the IMRF much better than I do as well. What causes that fluctuation and stuff?
Usually, it'll be caused by several people retiring at the same time, because when somebody retires, they pull that money out
Right,
and go with them, and it goes into the state fund as opposed to your section.
Right.
And then the investment returns is also the other big thing that really makes it fluctuate.
What, do we have an unfunded liability?
Not now.
No.
You're
That's-
overfunded by
that's-
1.6 million.
That's the important part.
So, but does that mean if everybody retired tomorrow,
We have enough.
we would have enough?
In
So
theory,
we don't need to be
well,
putting any more money in the
No,
IMRF?
we
right
don't.
now?
It
Right
affects
now.
with your rates. I mean, your rates, you should see a tumbling of rates until.
And that saves taxpayers money on
Yeah.
as far as the rate.
And where are we invested? Or is that government bonds or?
No, that's
It's
IMRF.
IMRF does a kind of a pool
Okay, I
investment.
get right.
And even though it's a pool investment, not everybody's in the same boat as you guys. Most people
I
are
know.
pretty good with IMRF, but most people are not the level as you are. So,
And that has a lot to do with the good year, the last couple of good years too,
Right.
so.
So overall, it's really not, I mean, it looks like you had a pretty good year on all the funds. And the spending that you had is kind of expected.
Well, this is the first year we were with a different company for maybe a decade or so, and so, you were great to work with, and I appreciate it, and kind of taught me too a little bit what you needed and stuff, so I really appreciate it
I
coming
thought it went
in.
really well for the first year. Gabby really helped us.
Yeah.
She was a little nervous about us.
The only-
She was really good.
The only other thing that I had, and then if you guys have anything, on that page, I believe it's under opinions, cause I know Brad noticed it as well, and it was about is it the MD?
It's short for MD&A, it's managed discussion analysis. It's something that governments are supposed to, can write, include in the audit, and then we just read to make sure that it's not telling anything that's not true. But it's kind of an analysis of.
So the government, I guess they recommend that you put that in there, and then we didn't have that in there?
The government auditing standards would recommend that.
Okay.
But it's kind of hit and miss. Some people do, some people don't.
But we can do it next year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can always do it if you want to. This is just wording saying that is not.
Right, when I was reading, I was like, what did we do wrong?
That's not a
Right.
problem, no.
Okay.
That's not a big deficiency.
No. I
Do
mean,
we
this
have
is-
any big deficiencies?
Well, I was gonna ask, what if any, do we have high or moderate risk? Anything you found?
No, well, no.
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty good township, there's not a lot of revenues that are.
Well, we're all new, so.
Yeah, it's more
Yeah.
expensive size when you see it, and we take a pretty hard look at expenses.
Okay.
What about throttling that excess? So is that a good thing to have that 1.6, or we should throttle some of that? Can it
With
be a
the
bad thing as
IMRF?
well? Yeah.
Well, you can't really touch it, it's more of hopefully they'll lower your rates in it.
They'll lower it.
And that would lower the
Gotcha.
monies that you need to use for there,
Yep.
or lower either allocate the tax money differently, property tax, or lower.
How about that?
Yeah, I talked to him, and it's gonna be really low, our rates this year, I think lower than we've ever had them. So, I'll talk to Derek about that at levy time, so we can adjust accordingly.
Yeah, and what they do, they use a 5-year, what they call 5-year smoothing too, so it's not like you take the big hit in 1 year, you look great this year and then awful next year. They kind of roll that, so you don't have this.
So this
kind
is,
of
this good look is accumulation
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, so you shouldn't, even if the markets would just fall flat, broke down to do, you probably wouldn't take a dive like this, it'd be more of a roller, because they're rolling over the 5-year period.
Back in 2018, we were,
It's underfunded in that year.
that's exactly my point. See, so that kind of varies. If we're at 1.6 over right now, that can change really fast in our stock market and a lot of things and.
And that was one of the
and
years
all
when the
that.
stock market was, that had a rough
Yeah.
time right when that was done, because these are based on December year end, so that'd been December 2018 when it was at its, probably the worst it's been in recent memory.
There's only a handful of pensions in the United States that are 100% funded.
So, well, thank you for coming in, really do appreciate it, and then
Thank you.
I'll be reaching out, I'm sure, with questions and stuff too. And if any of you guys have questions, once you dive deeper into it, don't hesitate, he always gets right back.
Try to.
Yeah.
I'm out all the time, out a lot, but I always try to get back and make
Absolutely.
all the time.
Look forward to doing more
Remember
business.
him from Card Mark?
Yeah, ACP too.
Yeah.
All right, well, have a good night.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, moving on the agenda here. Did you have a appointment?
Yeah.
Okay, appointment of Collinsville Township Ethics Officer, and maybe,
Oh, yeah, let me explain it. So, you guys will recall, we had the training for the prevention of sexual harassment. And, the gentleman, yeah, Brad passed. The gentleman who provided the training, I spoke to him afterwards, and he offered, we have policy regarding prevention of sexual harassment. So he offered to have their attorneys review it to see if they had any comments, make sure it was in good condition. And I got some very good comments back. And one of the things they did recommend is that we appoint an ethics officer, because if you remember from the training, they talked about all the places you would go to report if you felt that you were being harassed in the workplace. But the first line for someone to report is to either the attorney or to someone within the organization who would be appointed as the ethics officer. And that's something we'll have to incorporate into our policy. So they recommend that we appoint an ethics officer, and I think we probably should do that.
in that you're saying that can be the attorney, is that what they
Well,
recommended?
it would be somebody besides the attorney, and then
It needs to be somebody that everybody's gonna be comfortable with talking to.
Well, I would suggest, did you?
Yeah, that's fine,
Would
that's
you
fine.
accept that nomination? All right.
You know, besides Ashley, I'm probably the most ethical person up here.
Your doctor's pay.
And did you know that our attorney is actually the ethics counselor for the county?
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
So what will happen is probably the next meeting, I'm gonna present you, just like we did with all of our other policies, a red line version of that policy with some recommended changes that I got from this attorney. So we'll just need a motion to appoint me as the township ethics officer. No, we'll do that now. Because I'm gonna put that
I
in.
motion that we nominate Tim Ackelman.
We are nominating, okay, second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Roll call?
I knew. He
Yeah,
kept
thanks
looking
a
at me, I was
lot.
like.
Trustee Ball,
Yes.
trustee Gunther,
Yes.
trustee Sewell,
Yes.
trustee Stewart.
Yes.
Supervisor Powell.
Yes. Okay, next thing is my comments. I got just a few things here. First of all, we had a little visit this morning. We got a little scared, but everything, I just wanted to give you guys this. And this happens on occasion, but the health department stopped by and to check out the senior center, and looks like that we scored perfect.
Props to the kitchen and also
Yes.
Kelly helping out and Derek and everybody else. It's a team effort.
So, and I,
We got 100.
yeah, well, they're not doing scores anymore, cause,
Wow, that's good.
yeah, but, you were here, Jim, and, I'm skipping ahead a little bit here because I'm on it now though, but, I know a lot of you have been in here for lunch and stuff, but Cinda is with us. She's in the back, and she's really I just want to, looks like that she's on track to return here soon, and but since then, you know, we had to fill in with some volunteers and just make things work to keep up the quality for you guys. And I just want to say, Jim has helped out so much, you and John, and they're in here, what, 7 in the morning? And putting things together, yesterday when everybody else was off, I came in, they're in here working, and they're doing that for you guys, and I appreciate it so much, so thank you so much. Let's give them And when they came in today, I was so glad that they were back there, and John's been going out of his way to clean things, and so Cindy, you're gonna be walking back into a nice clean kitchen.
I appreciate everything they're doing.
Yes.
Well, you're welcome.
Thanks for the 100 on the clean.
Yes.
That's the most important thing.
I also just want to give you guys another handout. The senior council also meets once a month, and that is always the first Wednesday of the month. And there were some board changes due to some folks on the board that had work complications and stuff. So there was 2 new board appointees, and then 2 came off. But this is the minutes. Not gonna down them, but they're just not as good as Jim's minutes. But I do want to give you the minutes, and we'll also have the minutes for the seniors and stuff to post. And I want to also invite you guys, since you're here, to come to those meetings, because it's all about getting new ideas, what you guys want, and that's why this council is in place. It's not for me, or if it's not really for Brandon, it's for you guys to decide what you want to do. All right, and we want to work with the board to figure out how we can make that possible, to make this place go from good to great. And it takes everybody's opinion, and sometimes not everybody agrees, but that's okay. That's okay. And we're all working together, because like I've said many times, it's like a big family in here, and we all care about you. And then let's see here, a bus update or a van update. I talked to MCT, I had a meeting with them, and just working on the final of the design, because it's still being built, but it looks like we're about 30 days out. I know we have a couple of MCT or ACT members in here, but I want to thank them again for giving us this bus. It's going to be on the way. We're going to have a big ribbon cutting, and we're down to like 2 names, and we'll have the senior council decide what you guys want to do, okay?
Do we all get to go on the first ride?
I'd like you here. I don't know if we can fit. You are a senior, Brad, so what the heck? So,
I don't have to pay to get on?
And lastly, and again, this is why.
Don't act like the senior.
Don't leave out. We're going into to closed session, but we're going to talk about this lot, and it has not been easy. It's been so difficult to try to get this guy to, and I'm not going to say anymore. We're going to go into closed session to talk about it. I know a lot of you guys are here because of Brandon. I get it, and I just want to say you don't have to stick around. There's not going to be anything else. If you want to, you're fine. But I'm just telling you that we talked today, and we're trying to move forward. So with that, that's all I have. Anybody else? Motion to adjourn to closed session. We need a vote to go into closed session.
So since some of you guys are new to this kind of stuff, I've given you a form. When we go into closed session, we have to be very specific about what we're going in to talk about, which is what I've given you. And so I'll just read it through for now, but you guys can do it, in the future. So we're going to adjourn to closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees or legal counsel for the public body, and to discuss the purchase or lease of real property by the public body, including setting of a price for sale or lease of property owned by the public body. So I'm gonna need a motion in a second.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call.
Trustee Sewell.
Yeah.
Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
Trustee Ball.
Yes.
Trustee Gunter.
Yes.
Supervisor Cox.
Yes. You all have a great night. If you're still here when we come out, it might be a while, but feel free, but, you all have a great night, we'll see you.
I forgot to thank Liberty.
Clerk, roll call?
Trustee Sewell. Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
Trustee Ball.
Yes.
Trustee Gunther.
Yes.
Supervisor Cox.
Here. One more item on the agenda, and that's gonna be, tabled, for tonight. With that, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
I motion that we adjourn.
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, have a good evening.
All right, okay.
All right.